ledger, turn four as a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Hit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails, girl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Auto Club Speedway. As the Full Throttle Outlaws get ready to rumble, get ready to rock and roll here this evening from always beautiful Auto Club Speedway here for the winning bid, NASCAR diecast sales and card breaks 210 here this evening as each and every one of these drivers right now jumping out onto the racetrack. It is qualifying. So they are looking to lay down their quick time, trying to put down good times here, trying to set themselves up for a good starting spot here this evening as the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League gets back to action, gets back to the fun here this evening. Each and every one of them will be looking to try to put themselves into the winner's circle as right now Roberto Ramirez with the quick time here in qualifying, but it does not last long as the DraftKings number 23, Tristan Kyle with the quick time here in qualifying. Roberto will fall down into second here. We'll see if he can get a little quicker on lap number 2 as he heads down and out of corner number 4, looking for a big run there. Same with the 6th ride here as you do see the beautiful number 6 of Rusty Modesty. He's looking to get his first lap in as there you go, 43 down across the line. Does he find any extra speed right here? Can he find enough to get there and maybe beat the 23 of Tristan Kyle? Does not look like it. Looks like he'll virtually run about the exact same lap time right there, right at that 40-second marker. Philip Tuscano out there on the speedway as well, looking to lay down more quick times as we do see Tristan Kyle will beat his quick time that he had already set. He already had that pole position. He actually beats it himself and now a little quicker here in this qualifying session for the 23. Jackson Connell up and into 6th here. Good lap time there for him as he slides inside the top 10 here this evening as David Traylor Jr. looking for a big run in that QH Designs in number 54. Modesty jumps up into 11th here in qualifying. So Modesty now in 11th. He'll get another lap here as down across the line for the 54 of David Traylor. Right now he's got the slowest lap time, but he's looking for a quick time here. Unfortunately can't quite get it. 11th fastest, moving Modesty back one more row, but Modesty still with a lap left to go. Let's see if he can jump up here. Everyone else is done their 2 laps of qualifying, so for Rusty Modesty, he's the last driver to get a lap time in. Can he jump up and knock Tristan Kyle off that pole position? Or will Tristan Kyle be our pole sitter here this evening? Down across the line, finds a little extra speed, jumps inside the top 10, but it's not quick enough, as Tristan Kyle will be our pole sitter here this evening. Quick time going to the DraftKings, number 23 here this evening. Great run, great battle in here already. Obviously, everyone trying to put themselves into that pole position. It's obviously a big spot to be, as ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button on the stream for us right now. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today, as we'll get ready to play, as drivers will get loaded into the sim in behind the official iRacing pace car here for the start of our feature event. 105 laps here this evening for the winning bid, 210 here at Auto Club Speedway. So that's about 210 miles for these drivers. The 2-mile amazing speedway here in beautiful California is going to make for a lot of crazy, a lot of great action. We see 2 wide, 3 wide, even a little bit of 4 and 5 wide, especially through these big, wide corners. So for a lot of these drivers, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of opportunity to move forward, to fall back, to have some issues, to try to rebound. You're not out of it until that checkered flag flies. So these drivers, they know that they got their work cut out for them here this evening, as they'll all get ready to be set loose here this evening, waiting for about 3 or 4 of them to hop into the sim here, as they're still parked down behind pit wall, as the number 31 ride, Christian Strader. Strader will start in position number 3. Matt Hayden will start there to his outside. Keith Prince will start in 5th, with Jackson Connell in 6th. Colton Hardy in that QH Designs winning bid number 97 will start there in 7th, with Philip Tuscano in the Irwin Tools number 20 will start there in the 8th position. Rusty Modesty back there in the Menards ride, he'll start in 9th, with Gregory Wood Sr. back in position number 10. Starting in 11th is Joe Yakes, with David Traylor back in row number 6, with Bruce Bernard and Jesse Calloway right behind them. Starting in our final row in the 15th position, the QH Designs Full Throttle Paints number 92 ride. That is Clinton Woodby, and to his outside, the Miller Genuine Draft number 93 of Michael Yakes there in the final position. All the way back in 16th, that's starting on the pole. We talked about him there during the qualifying session. It is that 23 rider, Tristan Kyle, the DraftKings machine, who will start in the pole position. To his outside, his teammate in that number 43, the Safe Light ride, that is Roberto Ramirez, who will start in position number 2 here this evening. Is everyone ready to rumble, ready to go to battle? They are ready to duke it out here this evening. Who do you guys think will get it done? Who will find their way up and into the Auto Club Speedway victory lane here this evening? Will it be our pole sitter Tristan Kyle finding his way into the winner's circle? Or do we see one of his teammates, potentially Roberto Ramirez, Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano? Can they jump up there and steal the win away from their teammates, starting in that pole position? Christian Strader right there in 3rd. He'd love to get back up into victory lane, and so wouldn't Matt Hayden, who starts in position number 4. What about that JMB Lawn Care number 3 rider, Keith Prince? Can he get it done here this evening? As here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as down and out of quarter number 4 and into the Geico restart zone, we will see our first green flag of the day be displayed, as Tristan Kyle sees it fly, gets a good launch, a good jump right there. He'll slide up, clear that 43 right, and he'll lead us back down into quarter number 1 for the first time here this evening. He's going to arc it down the racetrack into the middle of corner 1 and 2, looking for a big run on corner exit. Did get a little piece of that apron. We'll have to wait and see how much speed and momentum he can carry down this back straightaway, as you see everybody moving around, and it's Christian Strader early on able to jump up into position number 2. So Strader now into 2nd. Matt Hayden right there looking to his inside, and here comes that 39 of Jackson Connell. Connell looking to make some early moves here. Already going 3 wide underneath that 5 and the 43. And Jackson Connell up 3 positions on the opening lap as here we go. That 31 rider, Christian Strader, trying to find his way around this 23 machine of Tristan Kyle. But man, it is all the 39 of Jackson Connell. Connell down low, just able to hit his marks. Able to get some great runs here through the center of these corners. And for the 39 ride, he's going to quickly jump up into second. So the Ignite Motorsports ride up and into position number 2. Already here this evening up 4 positions as Strader will jump in behind him, and now with teammates here at the front of the field. Philip Tuscano, their other teammate, a little farther back there. Same with Roberto Ramirez. Ramirez unfortunately sliding backwards here a little bit early on. He's down 4 positions as his teammate Jackson Connell is up 4 positions, and he may not be done yet. He's looking to take this lead away from Tristan Kyle. Tristan Kyle up the racetrack there pretty high in quarter 1 and 2, and you will see that 39 of Jackson Connell slide in front of him as Anna, what's good? Anna Alessandro in the chat says, what's up, Peacemaker? What's up? Anna, how are you? How you doing today? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Friday, as John Bernard Sr. also in the chat says, let's go, boys! Cheering on all the boys here this evening is out in front, stealing the race lead away from his teammate. It's Jackson Connell who will lead lap number 3 here this evening. Woo, baby! It's going to be racy like this all night long. I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth, a lot of drivers moving forward, a lot of drivers falling back, and obviously a lot of tire wear and fuel mileage. It's all going to come into play here. We will get a stage break at the completion of lap number 25 here this evening. So that stage break right at lap 25, meaning that we're going to have just under 80 laps left to go in this race after that stage break, and we go back to green flag racing. So that could produce, 2 or 3 potential green flag pit stops here for these drivers, and they only got 4 sets of tires, so they got to be very cautious. They got to make sure they don't make any mistakes, they don't burn through a set, and that you can kind of use them when you need them, but when it's going to be best for your opportunity to win this race, whether it's putting some tires on early and trying to run away with it, or if it's trying to hang on to those tires till a little bit later, as you do see the 20 ride of Philip Tuscano up and into third here, but he just bounced it off that corner 2 wall. So down the back straightaway, got into that fence, and now here comes Christian Strader trying to get back around him. Strader in that snap-on number 31 will roll the outside lane, and he will jump back into position number 3, moving Philip Tuscano back another spot, back into that 4th position, where Matt Hayden will now reel into his back bumper. Keith Prince right there in 6 as Roberto Ramirez continues to fall back here. The 43 now finds himself back here in that 7th position as he's got Greg Wood Sr. right there on his back bumper. Rusty Modesty there in 9th, and Joe Yates riding out our top 10. Clinton Woodby up into 11th here as Jesse Calloway, David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, Bruce Bernard, and Michael Yates around out our field. And now you got to start to wonder about some of these drivers and what the game plan is. We do take a look back at Colton Hardy. Hardy back 7 spots early in this race. Is he a driver that may be trying to play the strategy card here early on, maybe trying to save tires here to the extreme in this first stage, knowing that he probably won't go a lap down, but if he can try to time another caution flag after this first stage break, maybe it helps him out, maybe it puts him into a good position, maybe a timely caution flag here in this stage with 5-10 laps left to go, he may be able to use the bit fresher tires to still jump up here and win this stage. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out for that winning Bin 97 ride as Colton Hardy rolls back in that 14th position. But out in front, Tristan Kyle able to take the race lead back away from Jackson Connell. So Connell once again slides back into second, but here he comes back after Tristan Kyle here for that race lead as Tristan Kyle gets up and into the outside fence right there. Gets up a little bit too high. That's going to kill a ton of speed and momentum for the 23, and unfortunately he's going to fall outside of the top 5. So battling for the race lead, had just taken it back away from Jackson Connell. That one simple mistake, that one instance where he just got in a little too far, a little too high, and for the 23 now pays the price as he sits back in position number 6 here on the racetrack. He'll look to battle back. He's trying to hunt down and reel in this 20 ride. His teammate teammate of Philip Tuscano in that 3 of Keith Prince. As Prince now trying to work to the outside of this 20 machine is out in front. Jackson Connell. He's got Christian Strader and Matt Hayden right there working on his rear end, working on a way to try to get around that number 39. As everybody so far put on an absolutely amazing show for us here this evening, man. This has been a lot of fun, a lot of great racing, and these guys continue to just give us a great show here, lap after lap after lap, as we do know that Matt Hayden, Christian Strader also on the same team as well, so we'll have to wait and see. There's obviously a lot of different teams, a lot of different drivers that are really working together, that are really trying to help each other out here throughout this race, but this early on for stage points, it may be every man for himself here in this first stage. Later in the race, they may be a little bit more inclined to help you out, but right now, I don't think there's a whole lot of help here, as you do see the 5 right of Matt Hayden. He's worked his way around his teammate Christian Strader. Strader, though, battling back on that outside lane, gets a great run down the back straightaway, all over the back bumper of that 39 ride. And for Jackson Connell, he's trying to hold off 2 of these drivers back here behind him, knowing that Hayden and the 31 are going to be working together with that Misfits Racing team to try and take over this race lead. But here we go. We do see Tristan Kyle battling his way back in there, so the Ignite ride's trying to get lined back up again, as here comes Connell down low. Tristan Kyle going to roll the inside here as well, as we see Christian Strader way up the racetrack. He's going to get a piece of the fence right there. A couple times bouncing off the wall. Matt Hayden really has nowhere to go. He's going to have to help his teammate push him down the back straightaway here and into corner number 3. Just got to hope that there's no major damage or issues there for that 31 ride, as he'll look to now have to try and hold off Tristan Kyle. Philip Tuscano going to battle his way into this fight as well, as that's a third teammate there for the Ignite team, as right now all 4 of the Ignite Motorsports teammates inside the top 7. Roberto Ramirez just outside that battle, sitting in that 7th position right now. We'll see if he can jump up here and maybe join this hunt to the front a little later on. As John Bernard Sr. says, number 3 looking strong so far. Says, hope I didn't jinx him. Yeah, you better hope you didn't jinx him right there, John. That tends to always happen, brother. The jinxes are real, the curses are real here on Peacemaker Gaming. So sometimes cheering on your favorite driver doesn't quite play out the best way possible, and sometimes it just ends up not being the best for any of these cats out there when you start to cheer them on. But man, we love to see you guys in the comments section cheering these guys on and enjoying some amazing racing action here on a Friday night with the Full Throttle Outlaws here in the winning bid NASCAR diecast and card breaks 210 here this evening. As Jackson Connell, Tristan Strader, Tristan Kyle there rounding out our top 3 here on the Speedway. So Christian and Tristan gonna duke it out here in this one. Tristan down low, trying to get this sportsbook and casino DraftKings ride back towards the front here after falling back to 6th. Didn't really take him too long to get back up inside the top 3, but obviously struggling here a little bit trying to complete that pass on that number 31 of Christian Strader. Strader able to stay right there in second. Going to continue to work here on that Ignite ride of Jackson Connell, as Connell will look to continue to hold him back there at bay. But man, great run coming from the 23. Does he take it to the inside here? Let's see if he shoots down low, see if he tries to complete this pass on that 31. Looks like he's going to stick with him though. Does push the 31 right high up into corner number 3, as he had a lot of speed, a lot of momentum built up. We'll see what he can carry on corner exit, see if he can make a run after Jackson Connell, and I think it's going to get broken up here as the 23 ride kind of gets that inside there and kind of just drafts that to 31 ride a little bit back towards him here, kind of using that side draft, slowed him down ever so slightly, and that may have helped his teammate Jackson Connell hold on to the race lead. And now this is gonna be probably a great picture and a great idea of what these drivers are gonna have to do, where they're gonna be here for when we are, inside our final, 15, 20, 30 laps of this race, and what it's going to look like, and how these drivers are gonna have to play it out, and how much the draft and teamwork is really going to affect it. And and improve your potential of winning this feature event, as you do see. And all the Ignite rides down low now, as here comes the 20 ride of Philip Tuscano. Philip going to slide up and clear that 31 ride as well. So now it's Ignite 1, 2, and 3 here on the Speedway. Right there behind him, though, Strader still just trying to find something here. Rolling that extreme high side. He's got Keith Prince, Matt Hayden right there behind him as they are door to door back there for that 5th position. The 43 of Roberto Ramirez. He's poking his nose into the battle. So is in Joe Yanks. As Yanks now working his way up towards the front, and so is in that 92 of Clinton Woodby. So as these drivers continue to battle, they continue to get side by side out there. They continue to mix it up here. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of drivers starting to move forward. Some drivers starting to move back. We'll have to wait and see who can hang on to it, as we got about 9 laps left to go here in stage number 1. As the QH Designs number 92 of Clinton Woodby trying to work his way up towards the front here, trying to work himself inside the top 5, knowing that there are some good stage points that are on the line here. You want those stage points. You want every little bit to try to put yourself into a better position here this evening, knowing that our playoffs get started in just another couple races. So for each and every one of these drivers, knowing that playoffs are around the corner and a lot of these drivers are trying to work themselves up and into a good fight here towards the front of the field, obviously it's going to get very, very interesting. Let's take a look here, see if we can find our actual point standings. All right, here we go. So, point standings after Texas. Well, after Texas, Tristan Kyle, Jackson Connell sit 1 and 2 here with the most points. Tristan Kyle with a good points lead here, almost 30 points separating himself and his teammate, Jackson Connell. So for Tristan Kyle, if he can win this stage, if he can stay in front of his teammates here, could add to his points lead heading into our playoffs with Jackson Connell in second, David Traylor Jr., Philip Tuscano, Joe Yanks, Clinton Woodby, Roberto Ramirez. I do believe that is going to round out our top 7. Colton Hardy back in 8th with Jesse Galloway and Keith Prince, our top 10 here in the point standings. Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, they're tied back in 11th, just a few points outside of potentially putting themselves into the show here for the playoffs this year. Evan Schilling, Skylar Barry, Kevin Winker back there in 15th, Greg Wood, Ryan Rose, Gregory Wood Sr., and so many other drivers quite a ways back there, as we've seen so many come, so many go. I don't know where everyone is, but man, it would be nice if we could get all 34 cars out there onto the racetrack here for a couple of these races. That would be absolutely amazing here. But for right now, all of our main playoff drivers, all the contenders here are in attendance, are duking it out, and are looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. Then in front, it's still Tristan Kyle who continues to lead the way. Kyle has the top spot with Jackson Connell right there behind him. Philip Tuscano, his teammate, there in 3rd, and now they look to see if they can sweep the top 4 spots here in this stage. Is down across the line. They'll complete lap number 20, meaning that we got 5 laps left to go here in stage number 1. 5 more laps left here in this stage, and right now for the Ignite Motorsports team, they sit 1, 2, 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack. So they are absolutely hooked up here this evening, as each and every one of them, you know, looking like they got a good car and a good opportunity to compete for potentially the win here this evening. You'll see that 87 ride of Joe Yanks starting to race his way up towards the front. So you got to wonder if maybe some of the fresher tires, some of the drivers that took it a little bit easier early on. We saw the 43 fall back 4 or 5 spots out there on the racetrack, but now here he is late in the run, working his way back up towards the front, back into the picture here for what could be potentially the stage win here this evening. Let's see what he can do. As down across the line, they click off another lap, and now it's going to get real interesting too, because we could see a few drivers elect to come down pit road early here. we could see a few of these guys come down pit side, make a pit stop, and try to leapfrog these guys after the stage break. If you're sitting a little farther back, you know that you're probably not going to go a lap down. There is always that risk with a bad pit stop, but if you're somebody back here like potentially Matt Hayden or Clinton Woodby, David Traylor Jr., Jesse Calloway, Rusty Modesty, some of these drivers that are close enough to our race leaders that they could probably make their way down pit road, get their pit stop in, get fuel or tires or whatever they need, and get back onto the racetrack before the stage comes to an end. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone takes that last second opportunity to try to put themselves into that position to try to leapfrog everyone after the stage break. As out in front, Tristan Kyle continues to lead the way, but here comes Joe Yanks, man. Yanks having a great run. We talked about how that 87, he was game on here after about 10 laps in this race, and he started to work his way up towards the front. He's made some big passes, and he's hoping to make a few more as he looks to jump up and clear that 39 ride of Jackson Connell. But Connell able to stay there to his outside, able to hang with that 87 as they'll drag race all the way back down into quarter number 1 and 2. As the 87 down low, he may look to follow Philip Tuscano back here as well, as Philip's going to jump up, take that race lead for a split second away from the 23, but it may be short-lived as Tristan Kyle right back down to the inside. Kyle looking to jump back out in front, looking to keep himself here at the point. Obviously, a lot of these drivers, their teammates here inside our top 5. When you look at the 20, the 23, that 39, and the 43, all teammates here inside the top 5, excluding that 87 of Joe Yanks. So Yanks kind of the odd man out right now if it comes down to a last-second bump and run, the last-second push. He's going to be the driver that's on the outside of that, looking in here as he may get bullied here on this final lap. As here we go there, 3 wide, teammates right here in front of him, and the 39 ride of Jackson Connell going for a big slide job. Big slide job. Now there's contact. Look out. There goes the 20. Caution flag is on the racetrack. Caution flag. Caution flag. Oh, baby, they were getting dicey there out of corner number 2, and unfortunately, the 20 right now, Philip Tuscano, he is going to pay the price there, and he is going to go around. So the stage win will go to the 39. Let's take a look at it, because this is a big, big move from Jackson Connell down low, man. Connell makes a big move, shoots down to the inside, looking to make the pass on all of these guys, and he is able to pull it off here. Is right here through the center, able to get back onto the throttle. It's going to wash him up the racetrack, but right here, there's a little bit of contact between Tristan Kyle and Philip Tuscano. So Tristan's got to roll out of the throttle. The 87 rider Yanks not expecting it, not seeing that these guys are checking up as much as he was. He kind of gets into the back end of the 23, then into the back end of the 20 ride, and finally it just kind of hooks this 20 machine around. And man, look at Roberto Ramirez just somehow squeezed him through there without any major contact or anything else. And luckily enough for Philip, he's able to get this thing spun back around, keep it from sliding down into the infield fence. No major damage there for that Irwin Tools Toyota, so he'll be able to keep on battling. Unfortunately, he will miss out on quite a few stage points here this evening, as the stage win will go to Jackson Kyle. Jackson Connell, sorry. Tristan Kyle will come home in second. Joe Yanks back there in third with Roberto Ramirez and Christian Strader going to round out our top 5 here in our one and only stage of the evening. So give it up there for Jackson Kyle. Big, big move there at the end, giving him the top position. Obviously, winning that stage is definitely always a good thing here, man. It's always an extra bonus going to your back pocket. Obviously, trying to gain points, trying to reel in Tristan Kyle, but also getting those bonus points for the playoffs as well. Go a long distance here, as every stage winner throughout the season, I believe, gets 1 bonus point to our playoffs, and they will carry through round after round after round. But there's a big mistake right there out of the 39. Oh, brother. You just can't catch a break here if you're this 39 at Jackson Connell. So if we watch Connell right here and send it into his box, goes a little too far. Slides the tires right there, skids through his pit stall, has to throw it in reverse, finally gets stopped, but that is going to chew up a lot of time there for him, and we'll probably lose him the lead, as it does look like. He will exit the pits and now back in position number 4. Joe Yanks comes out with the race lead. Roberto Ramirez in second. Christian Strader there in position number 3. Jackson Connell, Keith Prince, our top 5 as we go back to Green Flag Racing with Matt Hayden, Clinton Woodby, David Traylor Jr., Jesse Calloway, and Colton Hardy rounding out our top 10. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in this one. All right, first stage into the history books. Who gets it done here? Obviously, we just saw a mistake down pit road from Jackson Connell. That's going to be a main focus here, especially if we start to see some more long green flag runs here at Auto Club. If we start to get into that picture frame where drivers going to make those green flag pit stops, this is a racetrack. This is a pit road that you wouldn't think with how virtually flat this racetrack is, for how wide and how long this pit lane is. Unfortunately, a lot of drivers tend to get some penalties here. And I don't know how they do it. I don't know why they do it, but somehow or another, with how big this pit road is, maybe it's just a lack of I don't know what you'd want to call it, just preparation, or potentially just a brain fart for a second or two, and unfortunately it catches a lot of drivers speeding down pit road here at Auto Club Speedway. So when it comes to our green flag pit stops, which we could see potentially 2, maybe even 3 green flag pit stops here over this next run to the checkered flag, could definitely throw a wrench into a lot of drivers' plans to try and win this race here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see who can be picture perfect down pit road, not make those mistakes, not put themselves into a tough position, and who's going to be able to hit the strategy perfectly here today. As the Expeditions Yanks 87 machine ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle here, is down through the Geico restart zone. He will get the green flag. He is the control car. He gets to fire first, and he'll get to use it to his advantage here to try to keep everyone else back there at bay. As here we go back to the show, down and out of corner 4. The pace car makes that hard left hand turn back down pit side, and our race leader Joe Yanks through the Geico restart zone. We'll see that green flag gets a great launch, a good jump right there for the 87, and for Joe Yanks, he'll lead us back down in to corner number 1 here this evening. But now they're going to start to get spread out, 2 wide, 3 wide, a little bit of 4 wide out there on the speedway, as everybody's going to be looking to try to navigate their way to the race lead. Rodney, what's good, Rodney? Rodney Stewart in the chat says, good evening, Hot Rod. How are you, brother? Rodney coming in, showing the love, says, what's good? How are you? How you doing? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day here today. As Anna says, what's up, Mr. Rodney? What's up, brother? As Ronnie says, Peacemaker, you keep yawning. I'll pass out. I work today. Oh, gosh. We can't have that. Listen, I'm going to get into my Monster Energy drink right now, chat. We're going to get into the Monster Energy drink right now. Oh, gosh darn. Huge shout out to Monster Energy, keeping us awake and alert here for these broadcasts, man. Huge shout out there to Monster Energy. If anyone would like to donate a case or 2 for our future broadcasts, I mean, that would definitely be much appreciated. You know, we always need the donations and extra monsters in our hand to keep us awake and alive and alert for all these amazing broadcasts. As out in front, it is that number 43, Roberto Ramirez, who's able to take the race lead away from that 87 to Joe Yanks, but quickly he's got his teammate Jackson Connell right back down to the inside. side. So Connell out in front, able to get another good run, another good launch here. And for our stage 1 winner, now finds himself back to the point. But right there on his back bumper, a driver we didn't see much of during that first run of the day is that 54 ride. The QH Designs number 54 of David Traylor Jr. Looks like he has turned up the wick here, and here he comes looking for the race lead. Is down across the start-finish line. The Toyota Supra QH Designs number 54 of David Traylor Jr. will lead lap number 31 here this evening. Here comes Matt Hayden. Here comes Christian Strader in his 31 machine. The 92 of Clinton Woodby right there ready to pounce, as well as maybe some of these drivers being a little bit more aggressive early on here, trying to maybe use up a little bit more of their tires than I think they're expecting to use. Maybe the tire fall off wasn't that bad. We'll have to wait and see throughout this run who's able to hang on to it, who's able to use these tires to their advantage. As right now you do see a couple of the drivers that we saw out in front, leading laps, doing good things early on, now falling outside the top 10. When we look back here at Tristan Kyle, he's now back in that 12th position. Philip Tuscano, he's back there in 13th with the 43 of Roberto Ramirez and Keith Prince all sliding backwards here since that restart. So for David Traylor Jr., Matt Hayden, Christian Strader, Callaway's now up there as well in that beautiful number 4 ride. Good to see Jesse Callaway having a good run as he's looking to bring his car up here inside the top 3, top 5 here this evening. He's got Clinton Woodby right there to his outside. Colton Hardy now into the mix, as well as the 39 at Jackson Connell rolls there in 7th. Gregory Wood Sr., Keith Prince, Roberto Ramirez, our top 10, as Joe Yakes does fall all the way back now into the 11th position. So after restarting on the pole, that Expedition number 87 ride now outside the top 10 here, as he's got Tristan Kyle, Philip Tuscano, Rusty Modesty, Michael Yakes, and Bruce Bernard back there behind him trying to reel him in. As Conrail coming in, showing the love, says, go that, I'm assuming that's go get that dub. Keith Prince cheering on the number 3 ride of Prince here this evening. Prince looked really good there in that first stage, first run of the day. Looked really strong. He battled up inside the top 5, top 3 a little bit, and I do believe just came home inside the top 5 there in that stage. So for the 3 machine, that beautiful Johnny Johnson Motorsports JMB Lawn Care number 3 machine, sitting back right now in the 8th position. But I think a lot of these drivers are trying to play the tire strategy here. I think a lot of drivers are expecting this to be a very long green flag run, so if they can be a little bit more cool, calm, and collected, a little bit easier on their tires, the better their cars are going to be later in the run, where they're going to start to pass all these cars that have made them their way around them here. So for Jackson Connell, who we saw just battling for the race lead, he was up there, won that stage. He's now fallen back here to his teammates. That's Tristan Kyle right there behind him, back in the 11th position, just outside the top 10. Philip Tuscano and Roberto Ramirez back here as well. So it looks like the Ignite Motorsports team, maybe got a little bit of something up their sleeve here. Maybe they figure something out. Maybe they know just how valuable these tires will be later in the run. So they're using them right now to their advantage for not this moment, not this lap, but later in this run. It could definitely open up the door for them, as we saw everybody come down pit side on lap number 26. That is going to mean that we're already 10 laps into this run, and for a lot of these drivers, you know, they're still running quite a bit slower, about 2/10, 3/10, 4/10 slower than our race leader. So as that tire fall off continues though, and we see everyone kind of still lined up together, you're kind of right there in the same draft, the same wake as them. You're not really losing too much, but if you're out in front and you're controlling the pace of this race, it could burn up your tires a ton. As out in front, Christian Strader will lead lap number 37. Alrighty, Strader out in front, continuing to lead the way in that 31 machine. It's Clinton Woodby who's worked his way now up and into second as the 92 ride. The winning bid, NASCAR diecast and card breaks. QH Designs number 92 ride up and into second now. He has gained 13 positions. He hung out towards the back there during that first run, that first stage. We saw him start to work his way up towards the top 5 there at the end. But for the 92, right here in second, we'll have to wait and see what he's got up his sleeve and for what these drivers are going to have to do for all the strategy, all the game plan. A lot of these drivers, they go through these stages, and, you know, week after week after week. They kind of know what to expect. They kind of know what they need to do, but it all comes down to who maybe had the extra practice, who had the extra time on the simulator to make sure that their strategy was going to work out perfectly. You know, there may be other factors that may help or hurt their strategies here this evening. So I think for a lot of these drivers, still just hanging onto the edge of their seats, hoping that their strategy will play out, that it'll work into their favor, and they're hoping that, you know, potentially this stays clean and green. I think a lot of these drivers, I think when they come to their calculations on when they want to pit, how long their tires can last, and all those different factors that will make their decision that much easier, that much tougher here throughout this feature event. If it stays clean and green, you know, from this point on to the checkered flag, it's going to make these calls that much easier. Obviously waiting for maybe drivers behind them to start to come down pit road, or they come down first and use the fresher tires to their advantage. It'll be really, really interesting to see how that will play out. When do we start to see, you know, Jackson Connell, some of these other drivers that have been kind of sitting back here a little bit, if they start to navigate their way towards the front, and once they start to run maybe better lap times than the drivers in front of them, as we see the tire fall off already over a second here. So over a second, a tire fall off for our race leaders, and for the drivers that are back there, you know, outside the top 8, outside the top 10, as there is contact. Look out, the 13 ride. Oh, baby. That was a big hit right there, and a heavy, heavy piece of contact into the inside fence for the 13 ride. As unfortunately for Gregory Wood Sr., looks like he's going to throw that thing right down pit side, man. Tough break here for the 13 machine. Let's see if we can get another look at it, see what happens. Rolling to the outside here, and it looks like, I don't know if he gets a piece of the fence first or if he gets a piece of the 6 ride here as he comes off the wall. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one, another look at it, because the 13 ride, he's pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. You see the flames coming out of that car, so he's checking up, trying to keep himself out of the fence. And I think right there, just losing all that speed and momentum, having to slow down here to keep himself from getting up into the outside wall. He checks up, the 6 ride gives him a shot into the back bumper, bounces off the fence, bounces off the 87 ride, finally washes down the racetrack. Hard contact into the infield, safer barrier, and unfortunately, that's where that car will come to a rest. He'll take it down pit road, and unfortunately, looks like his night may be done here after 40 laps of racing action. So a tough break right there for Gregory Wood Sr. Now scored back in 16th, and unfortunately off of pit road. Is out in front, it's Christian Strader though. Strader with that race lead. He's feeling a-okay here out in front with Clinton Woodby back there in second. Matt Hayden rolls in position number 3 as we do see Colton Hardy trying to work to his outside. David Traylor Jr., Jesse Calloway, and Keith Prince are top 7 here at the front of the field as Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano there trying to reel them in, trying to join them here in this bit of a pack in front of them as they're looking to try to navigate their way back up towards the front. Joe Yanks there rounding out our top 10. So our pole sitter at the restart here, the 87 ride, led us back to the green flag after that stage break, and now for the 87 rolling here in that 10th position. We'll have to wait and see if he's got anything left in his tank to try to get back up here to the front of the field. As Roberto Ramirez, Rusty Modesty roll there in 11th, and 12th. It's Tristan Kyle back in 13th. Michael Yakes there in 14th. Bruce Bernard rounding out our top 15 drivers, as unfortunately Gregory Wood Sr., we did see that contact for the 13 ride, is down and potentially out of this race for the rest of the evening. Out in front though, it is Tristan Kyle who continues to lead the way, and we're starting to get to that picture. We're starting to get to that window when drivers may start to decide to come down pit side. We saw everybody make it there, 26 laps or so, 25 laps under the green flag conditions during that same run. But these drivers in these cars, they have their fuel tank shrinked here for these races, and unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, there's only, I do believe it is 65% fuel. Yeah, 65% fuel capacity in these race cars here for this evening. So that means, whether or not you can go 40 laps compared to 30 laps out there on the racetrack. So I think for a lot of these drivers, I think that's really the number that we're probably going to see, is probably going to be right around that 30 lap marker, and that could be one of the big picture game plans from deeper in the field. When it comes to Jackson Connell, when it comes to Philip Tuscano, maybe Roberto Ramirez or Tristan Kyle, it may be down to that fuel mileage and trying to eliminate maybe an additional pit stop here, but is it going to be worth it? Will you have to slow your pace down so much to save enough fuel to make it only on one less pit stop? Will it help you? Will it hurt you? Will it put you into a position where potentially late in this race, they may still be able to track you down, pass you, and steal the win away from you without you even having to make that additional pit stop? But I think for a lot of these drivers, if they can make it somewhere near that 30 lap window-ish area, I think that would put us somewhere around lap number 56 to come down pit road, back down pit side again, somewhere around lap number 86. Should get you to the end of this race without an issue. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to have that game plan, who's going to have that theory in their brain to try to make the calls, make the moves, and make that decision to be the first one to potentially come down pit road, or the decision to be potentially one of the final drivers to come down pit side. If you are one of those final drivers down pit road, you're going to be giving up so much time here. The tire wear is so incredible here at this speedway that right now we take a look through the field and everybody is running virtually about 2 seconds slower than what they did 20 laps ago. So 20 laps ago, they were running 40-second lap times, 40.3s, 40.4s, even some running into that 40.1s, 40.0s here this evening. So for a lot of these drivers, they've backed that pace all the way down now to running somewhere in the mid 42-second time frame. So they have lost over 2 seconds here, lap after lap after lap. But for Christian Strader's just continuing to run solid laps here. Good laps, quick laps here. He's not looking to back down at all, and even though it may be tearing up his tires, he's looking to just try to continue to hold this gap here between himself and Clinton Woodby, as Woodby sits back there in second as Matt Hayden and David Traylor Jr. door-to-door back here for third and fourth. Jesse Calloway there in fifth, and now you do start to see this 39 ride of Jackson Connell starting to find some level playing ground, starting to get a little bit better lap times here, and he's starting to make some moves around some of these drivers. He's up into 6 here. You see Philip Tuscano right there as well. He's trying to navigate his way up towards the front, so maybe some of the drivers that were, trying to save some tire early in this run, starting to get it back right now, and we may see some big moves late in this run before everyone starts to head down pit road. Is the next time by the start finish line for our race leader, who has a 1.7 second lead down the back straightaway. Massive gap here for Christian Strader down through 3 and out of 4. He will head back down the front straightaway here and across the line. He'll complete lap number 50 here this evening. So 50 laps are concluded here today, and that means we still got about 55 more laps left to go, binding some NASCAR overtime here at Auto Club Speedway. So for Christian Strader, he's just looking to continue to hold this gap, hopefully start to see some more drivers wanting to maybe come down pit road, or maybe start to struggle a little bit more with the tires. As there we go, we see one shoot down the racetrack. That was the 97 ride of Colton Hardy. Luckily enough, Hardy able to keep himself in the battle, able to keep that car a-okay, not any damage to it. So luckily enough, he's able to catch it and hang on there. But man, that was a close call there. That could have been our second driver potentially out of this race. But for the 97, able to hang on to it, keep on rolling, but does fall all the way back now into that 12th position on the racetrack. So for Colton Hardy, losing a lot of track position, a lot of ground, a lot of time out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see if somehow or another, without a caution flag, if he can battle his way back up towards the front of the field here. As you do see Jackson Connell, he's on his march back up towards the front. He's making some moves. He's trying to drive his way through this top 5. He wants to jump back out in front, but he's still got a few drivers to get through, including a big gap up to our race leader, Christian Schrader. Schrader continues to pull farther and farther away from this group, continues to just improve lap after lap after lap, man. I don't know how he is able to do it, man. He continues to lay down really good lap times, and right down to the wire here last time around, he was the quickest driver out of everyone else back there behind him. So for our race leader, maybe the clean air, the fresh air on the nose of the 29 ride, maybe it's just allowing him to just lay some absolutely insane lap times here and pull farther and farther away, as the gap is now just over 2 seconds between himself and Clinton Woodby. So, man, this has been fun. This has been interesting, and now with a bit of a gap, can Christian Schrader use it to his advantage? Obviously, throughout this race, we may see it stay clean and green. We may not get another caution flag to bring these guys back to his rear bumper. So it is up to all these other drivers to try to find that couple seconds, to find that, corner, basically, distance to be able to reel in our race leader and to put the pressure onto Christian Schrader's back bumper. Can Jackson Connell get there? What about the 92 ride? Who can find their way up to this 29 or 31 machine here this evening, as Schrader does drive the 31 ride now with the new paint scheme here on that car, and looking good out there on the speedway. But for Schrader, gap still well over 2 seconds, and now here we go. He's going to be the first cat to come down pit side. So Christian Schrader heads down pit road. Looks like Jackson Connell, Jesse Calloway, Colton Hardy are all going to follow him down pit road. All right, so this is an interesting call. Obviously a fairly early pit stop here for Christian Schrader and a few of these other drivers. I was expecting them to get closer towards lap number 30 on their run, but this is really about, I don't even know what this is, 28 laps since they were last down pit side. So for a lot of these drivers, this is really going to continue on with their calculators and what they need to be, where they need to be, how many laps they need to run to be able to try to make it maybe on one more stop. If they got to make 2 stops, it could potentially put them out of this race. As here we go, we do see our next wave all come down pit side. So here comes Clinton Woodby, David Traylor Jr., Matt Hayden, Joe Yanks, Keith Prince, Philip Tuscano coming back down pit side. Here comes Rusty Modesty, Tristan Kyle down pit road as well, as we did see Roberto Ramirez. He's going to stay out for at least another lap. So isn't Michael Yanks. So a couple drivers making stops here, and a couple drivers staying out a little bit longer, as it does look like Christian Schrader will still have a bit of a gap here. It's about 2.4 seconds between himself and this 39 ride of Jackson Connell. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to be able to leapfrog here, maybe try to make some big ground down pit road and try to stay in front of Christian Schrader. But I don't think anyone's really going to get that opportunity, because here comes both the other 2 race leaders. Here comes Roberto Ramirez, here comes Michael Yanks, and for right now it is this 31 Christian Schrader who has the race lead, has that 2.5 second lead, and right behind Jackson Connell and Jesse Calloway, you see this second group. Now, for this second group, they do have but 1 lap better tires now. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot. 1 lap better tires doesn't really seem like it is going to be a huge difference, but throughout the run and towards the end of the run, could definitely make a little bit of headway, could definitely help them out a little bit. But obviously, early on, it hurts them a little bit. They lost quite a bit of ground here to Jackson Connell and to Jesse Calloway. That 1 extra lap of them being able to run that 40-second lap time virtually ran lap number, lap number 55, about 2 seconds quicker, about 2 seconds faster than our race leaders, or our race leaders were about 2 seconds quicker than them. So that's what really gives them that extra gap, that extra little bit of a boost and everything else. As Andrew Little says, Schrader leads by a stayed away. straightaway. Okay, there we go, straightaway. I don't know about quite a straightaway. These are very, very big straightaways here, Andrew. Very big straightaways here at Auto Club Speedway. So it's not quite a straightaway, as you see Tristan Strader right here. He's about to enter corner number 3, and here's our second place driver right there behind him. Only about 3.2 seconds here in this one, but yeah, definitely still a good gap. Still a solid straightaway. Okay, I get it. A straightaway. All right, I get it now. I like that, Andrew. I like that, brother. It's a stretch like his lead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A straightaway. I like that. Definitely a little bit of a play on words, but I definitely like that. That's a good one. As he continues to lead this race, 3.3 seconds between himself and Jackson Connell as the Ignite Motorsports ride back there in second. Jesse Calloway there in position number 3. David Traylor Jr. in 4th, with Matt Hayden rounding out our top 5 in the 5 ride. Keith Prince back in position number 6 with Philip Tuscano there in 7th. Clinton Woodby in position number 8. Rossi Modesty right there behind him back in 9th, and Roberto Ramirez rounding out our top 10 as Colton Hardy there in the 11th position has Joe Yanks on his back bumper. Tristan Kyle, who we saw leading laps and looking really good early on this evening for the DraftKings number 23. He's back here in that 13th position, desperately hoping to see a caution flag to try to reel in the rest of the drivers here in front of him to get himself back into the battle. For Michael Yanks, he's back here in that 14th position, and Bruce Bernard, unfortunately, now is the first driver 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. He's the only driver 1 lap down, and unfortunately for Gregory Woods Sr., we saw him have some issues down and out of corner number 2, where he ended up into the inside fence, and unfortunately down and out of this race at this point. But we still have 15 drivers duking it out here in this one, and it is a bit of a dogfight, but right now, not much of a dogfight because it's all Christian Strader. Strader just continues to pull farther and farther away now, almost stretching this race lead out to about 4 seconds, as the gap is about 3.9 seconds between himself and Jackson Connell. So for Connell, he's got to wonder, what is he doing differently? What is he doing wrong? Is the game plan going to work out in his favor, where he will be able to hunt down and catch up to that number 31 machine here this evening? Jesse Calloway rolling there in 3rd with David Traylor Jr. and Matt Hayden trying to reel them in here, trying to advance themselves through the top 5 here on the racetrack. But it is 61 laps completed, 61 laps down here, still a lot of laps left to go, and I do believe we should see more green flag pit stops here. I'm going to say we're probably going to see these drivers back down pit road somewhere around, man, I don't know. They didn't quite make it 30 laps on that run, so I don't think they can. We saw a couple drivers make it virtually 30 laps, but there were a lap or 2 of the yellow flag conditions. So it's going to get really, really down to the nitty-gritty here, because if they can only make it about, let's say, 28 laps or so, that's going to put these drivers back down pit road for the most part somewhere around, that would be lap 20, lap 80-ish area, somewhere in there. So I guess if they pit somewhere around lap 80, and then they can make it the final 25 laps, so maybe everyone can make it on one final pit stop. Maybe everyone is good to go here with only one more stop on the day, as they pitted virtually right around that halfway marker. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit wild. It's going to be a little bit crazy, and especially if there's a late race caution flag, you got to wonder, one of these drivers back here a little deeper in the field, when you look back at potentially Colton Hardy or Tristan Kyle, Michael Yanks, maybe even Joe Yanks, some of these drivers that are a little deeper in the field here, whether or not they took fresh tires, or maybe they are just trying to play a tire strategy here, maybe trying to save a set for later in this race, and having that extra set back down behind pit wall with a late race caution flag could be the winning strategy here in this feature event. But if we stay clean and green and they don't get to use that extra set of tires, then the gamble is all for naught, and unfortunately can put them into a big enough hole that they really just can't bounce back without that caution flag or the extra set here for later in the afternoon, as Christian Strader continues to lead the way. Christian out in front, still stretching out that race lead, still pulling farther and farther away from our second place driver, as you do see this battle starting to brew up a little bit more. It's now Jesse Calloway up and into second. David Traylor Jr. though right there to his inside as Jackson Connell does slide back into position number 4. He's got Matt Hayden right there ready to bounce as well. As they battle here for second, it's allowing Christian Strader to pull farther and farther away here. Now over 4.5 seconds, the gap between himself and David Traylor Jr. So this is definitely working out good in this one, man. It's definitely looking out here in this one. As Steven says, is that the Andrew Little? That is the Andrew Little right there. That is the Andrew Little right there in the comments section. Yes, Sirski has Andrew Little, Stephen L. Good to see you guys up in the chat here. Is out in front. It is Christian Strader. Strader continuing to lead the way. David Traylor Jr. now in tow, trying to reel him in, trying to hunt him down here before the next wave of green flag pit stops. It's Jesse Calloway there in third, Matt Hayden up into fourth. Jackson Connell falls back into fifth as Keith Prince, Philip Tuscano, Clinton Woodby, Roberto Ramirez, and Rusty Modesty round out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Joe Yanks there in 11th with Colton Hardy, Tristan Kyle, Michael Yanks, and Bruce Bernard rounding out our top 15 here of active drivers. As unfortunately for Gregory Wood Sr., he is down and off of the racing surface. That's all good news here for Christian Strader, is still clean and green, still just running away with it here, but unfortunately, as he's seen that 39 right of Jackson Connell starting to fall backwards here, some of the drivers with that one lap better tire wear starting to move forward a little bit. We do see David Traylor now up and into second. He's actually reeling in our race leader ever so slightly, and Matt Hayden is right there with him. So Matt Hayden and David Traylor Jr. came down pit side one lap after Jesse Calloway and Jackson Connell, and that may be that little bit of an edge, that little bit that they need to be able to do here in this one to try to drive their way up towards the front. As Andrew Little says, doing a little CAD work, a little 3D printing, and watching some sim racing. Let's go, man. That's dope. That's dope right there, man. Says making some HVAC tubing for classic Mopars. Oh, okay. Hey, yo, that's dope, brother. That's dope, Andrew. What in the world? That is absolutely awesome. As Steven says, I'm trying to give Rusty and Matt some fast vibes. Some fast vibes here, trying to give them the zoomies here this evening. Well, right now, Matt Hayden definitely wants some zoomies, trying to hunt down our race leader and that number 54, and David Traylor Jr. And Rusty Modesty a little farther back there. Rusty kind of playing a little bit of a different strategy throughout this race compared to Matt Hayden. Unfortunately for Rusty, he is about 8 seconds back of our race leader, about 4 seconds back of his teammate Matt Hayden, and sitting back, rounding out our top 10 right now for that number 6 machine. So Rusty definitely needs a little bit of those fast vibes, a little bit of those zoomies to try to help him out here, trying to get him back up towards the front of the field. As out in front, it is Christian Strader. He's got this race lead. He's still got this massive gap and still trying to use it to his advantage to pull farther and farther away from everybody else. But, man, it's going to come right down to the wire, I think, man, especially if we see a late race caution flag, how much that may change the entire aspect of this race, this entire game plan here this evening, as Christian Strader will lead lap number 70. So 70 laps down here in this one. 70 laps down. And I believe that is 35 more laps left to go here this evening. 35 more laps left to go. One more wave of green flag pit stops for all these drivers, where one simple mistake of pit road speeding penalty could be the end of your night, the end of your chances of trying to win tonight's feature event. So you're going to be clean and green, not only out there on the racetrack, but down pit road as well, you cannot make a mistake. You cannot put yourself into a position where you potentially give away this feature event. As now in front, Christian Schrader will lead another lap as we'll jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we want you guys to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, as our final pit stops of the day have gotten started already. Some drivers have already made their way down pit road, and for right now, it is Jesse Galloway who holds on to the race lead, but it looks like he'll head down pit side this time. The first couple drivers to work their way down pit road were David Traylor Jr. in that number 54 ride. David came down pit side along with, I do believe it was the 92 ride, I do believe. All came down pit road together there, and for both drivers trying to leapfrog some of these drivers, the bit earlier pit stop trying to help them out. Unfortunately, they didn't get too long with those fresh tires over the older tires, as we saw Christian Strader and a lot of these other drivers, Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano, Matt Hayden, all these guys coming down pit road virtually the next lap afterwards. So for a lot of these drivers, unfortunately not the best of launches here, or not the best of pit stops. So unfortunately, they haven't really gained too much. I do see that Christian Strader still holds about a 3.3 second gap between himself and David Traylor Jr., but now Christian Strader has that extra little bit of tire advantage here, even though David Traylor Jr. was able to run that one lap with the better tires and didn't really gain him enough time back to really put the pressure onto Christian's rear bumper. So I think for the 29 ride, right now, he is sitting in a pretty good position, knowing that, he's got the race lead, he's got a good gap. All he's got to do is just hit his marks, not give anything up, and not make any big mistakes. We do see Tristan Kyle down pit row. We do see Keith Prince also down pit side. Unfortunately here for Tristan Kyle, it looks like a bit of a slow pit stop here. Weird angle for the 23 to hit his box, and I'm not sure if he's going to be... I think he had to kind of get a different angle into this one here. Let's see if we can play this forward a little quicker and take a look at the pit stop here for this 23 ride, because, man, this is definitely going to be interesting. Right here, gets in here, a little bit of a weird angle, and he's got to back it up here, and he was down pit road for a bit of an extended period of time right there, and unfortunately for Tristan Kyle, that is definitely going to affect the outcome of his feature event, as the 6 of Modesty, the 87 of Joe Yanks, both down pit road, and still continue to lead this race, and yet to come down pit side here for the final pit stop of the day is Roberto Ramirez. Ramirez, we heard him there during the Crank It Up. He was saving quite a bit of fuel. He was clutching it, and he was coasting through the corners. Now, it may work out in the short term here for him, as he's the race leader. If he can catch a caution flag, it may help him out a ton, but if there are no yellow flags, if he doesn't catch that caution, unfortunately, he's going to be giving up so much time here to these other drivers with the fresh tires that he's going to be so far behind them that I don't even think the fresher tires will really help him out or gain him back all the time that he is losing right now. As right now, he's running about 2 seconds or better slower than what was our race leader, Christian Strader. So for Roberto Ramirez, you're leaking all this time, lap after lap after lap, and finally decides to come down pit road. But the damage may have already been done here for the 43, pitting virtually about 5 laps, 6 laps after our race leader, Christian Strader, did. So for Strader, he'll quickly head down through corner 3, nice and easy. Out at corner number 4 is, fuel calls are always a tough one to make, man. It's always tough to do, and you're definitely going to take 4 tires. The full fuel load, you got to be down pit road. You're going to be sitting there for, 12, 13 seconds anyways, getting a full tank of fuel. You got to put those 4 tires on, man. There's no way you can get away with 2 here at Auto Club Speedway. I mean, maybe if it's a short run to the end, if we see a late race caution flag, maybe that 2 tires pit stop may pay off. If there's a handful of cars that come down pit road, you want to be leading the way there, maybe the 2 tire stop will help you out. Maybe that'll give you a bit of an advantage, but I think here with the long run, everything else, you need those 4 tires here at Auto Club, especially with how aggressive the tire fall off is. As we do see Roberto Ramirez able to get back out onto the racetrack here right now, currently scored in about the 9th position as Rusty Modesty rolls up here behind him, same with the 97 of Colton Hardy. Now for Roberto Ramirez, he will have a bit better tire than the 6 ride in the 97, so he'll be looking to use that bit better tire to his advantage, but he sits right right now about 22 seconds back behind our race leader Christian Schrader right now. So that's a tough spot to be in. If you're Christian Schrader, he's just loving it right now. He's got a 4-second gap between himself and David Traylor Jr., so he's taking full advantage of the good tires, the track position, the clean air that's on his nose, and he's looking to run away with this one as David Traylor Jr. sits in second. He's got about 1.7 seconds between himself and our third-place driver, Philip Tuscano. Tuscano back there in third. He's got Jackson Connell right there with him. About 3 seconds farther back, you see our fifth-place driver, Clinton Woodby, and then Jesse Calloway a little farther back with Keith Prince there in 6th and 7th. Matt Hayden all the way back here at the start-finish line in 8th with Rusty Modesty, Colton Hardy, the number 87 Joe Yakes, and Roberto Ramirez, who's finally up to speed, rolling at about that 12th position. Tristan Kyle, who we saw have that mistake down pit side and already a little farther and deeper in the field, now finds himself in about that 13th spot on the Speedway. Michael Yakes now finds himself as the first car a lap down out there on the track, as well as the 93 currently rolls back in that 14th position, but is in that lucky dog spot. For Bruce Bernard, he's a couple laps down back in the 15th spot, and for Gregory Wood Sr., still down behind pit wall. But out in front, it's all Schrader, man. Man, this car has been absolutely a rocket ship here this evening. Didn't quite get the finish I think he wanted in that first stage. Didn't really get any stage points there for that 31 machine, but I know he's going to be looking to try to park this car up and into victory lane. And as he continues to pull farther and farther away from everyone else here, it's 4.5 seconds now between himself and David Traylor. So he is continuing to just pull farther and farther away from the rest of the field, virtually eliminating their chances here this evening of catching him, biting a potential caution flag. They either need this 31 to fall off the map here and really start to run a ton slower out there on the Speedway, or they need a caution flag to be able to get back to the bumper here of this 31 ride. And so far, we've only seen that one caution flag for stage break. There's been no cautions, I do believe, for incidents out there on the Speedway. Technically, I guess our stage caution was the end of that one. So I think our stage caution was actually an incident out there on the racetrack when we saw, I believe it was the 20 ride down the back straightaway of Philip Tuscano, who kind of got spun sideways to bring that caution flag out on the final lap of our stage. So really, there's been one yellow, one incident, one yellow, one problem here this evening, and I mean, you take a look at the chances here of potentially another one coming out. I mean, it's not looking very good. We've been almost 65 laps of nonstop green flag racing, so for a lot of these drivers, you kind of got to just live in the bed that you made. As Andrew Little says, admin box, I know that guy, he says, let's go. Admin box, definitely the best in the business right there. Make sure you guys get check out Admin Box, jump over to their Facebook page or their website and take a look at their amazing devices and what they can do and help immerse you into the simulator. As Tristan Schrader continues to lead the way, continues to show these drivers how to get it done, as Stephen L says, how much do I send to get a yellow thrown? Oh, brother, that's not up to me, Steven. That's not up to me, brother. I wish I had admin controls. I'd throw one to you for free, brother. I would throw one for free, but unfortunately, I don't have those type of controls in here, brother. I'm just a spectator in this session, so I can't do that. I mean, I don't know, I could hop into the Discord with somebody, Colton Hardy or somebody, or someone to pull the trigger on a caution. I don't know if they would, but I could definitely try. No, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. And Schrader continues to lead it here. 5 seconds now, the gap here. 5.13 seconds between himself and David Traylor Jr. A massive gap here for that number 29 ride. And as David Traylor Jr. starts to see some more drivers reel him in here, Philip Tuscano and Jackson Connell reeling into that 54 ride. They came down pit road a lap after David did, so they got a little bit better tire than that number 54 as well. So for David Traylor Jr., if he starts to battle door to door here with David Traylor Jr., or with Philip Tuscano and Jackson Connell, for these drivers, that's going to probably bring them farther and farther away from the race leader. Christian Schrader, and this is just going to allow Schrader to pull farther away, man. This car is absolutely on fire. I don't know where he got it from, where it started, but man, this thing has just been a rocket ship since that first stage break. He came back out and he was firing on all cylinders, raced his way to the point, and from that point on, never really looked back. He was able to kind of stick with everybody. Everyone kind of hung out with him for a few laps, and then just slowly but surely just started to pull farther and farther and farther away. And now with a couple waves of green flag pit stops, the lead is going to be pretty significant. It's over 5.5 seconds now, so really he's just sitting pretty, just hoping not to see a caution flag. That's the only way I think that this 31 will end up losing this race, is if a yellow flag is displayed here over the next 10 laps. As out of corner number 4, back down and across the line, he will complete lap number 95, and that is 10 more laps left to go here in this race. So 10 more laps left here for Christian Schrader to pick up the checkered flag here this evening. Still about 5.5 seconds between himself and David Traylor Jr. as Philip Tuscano, Jackson Connell back here trying to hunt down that 54 ride to the minimum. Jesse Calloway back a little farther there in 5th with Keith Prince and Clinton Woodby all right there as well. So a bit of a battle brewing here for a top 5 if either the 3 or the 92 can jump up here and steal that 5th position away from Jesse Calloway here late in this race. Now for Clinton Woodby, he's kind of at the on end of this one. He was down pit road back on lap number 78 for Callaway. He was down pit road on lap 81. Keith Prince lap 82. So they got a little bit better tire than he does, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hang on and hold and continue to battle with these guys with the fresher tires. So for that number 92 ride, he may be a bit of a sitting duck back here behind them. You just got to hope that they continue to battle door to door, switching spots and maybe burning their stuff up, that he can put on a fight and try to battle his way inside the top 5. About 7 seconds behind him, you do see Rusty Modesty there in 8th, the 87 of Joe Yakes back in 9th, and Matt Hayden rounding out our top 10. Colton Hardy there in position number 11 with Roberto Ramirez in that 12th spot on the Speedway. Tristan Kyle there in 13th with Michael Yakes in 14th. Bruce Bernard in 15th, and Gregory Wood Sr. bringing up the rear of the field here in this one. Is out in front. It's all Christian Schrader. Schrader just absolutely pulling farther and farther away here, man. He's just on cruise control. He's been on cruise control. He just got to hit his marks, not make any mistakes, not put himself into a bad position, even trying to make a move or trying to pass this 23 ride of Tristan Kyle to put the 23 ride potentially a lap down. As much as that, it's going to be nice. He's our points leader, and if you're Christian Schrader, obviously points aren't really much of a thought for you because you're just trying to win this race. He doesn't really have a lot of points. He really hasn't been in that hunt for the points all season long, missing a lot of the races. So for the 31, points don't really matter for him, but maybe for some of his teammates, if this 23 ride has a bad run here tonight, that could bring them a lot closer to potentially taking over that points lead. And looks like Tristan Kyle going to move up the track, allows this number 31 to go by, and that's a tough break for our points leader to now fall a lap down back behind Christian Schrader here in this one. So Schrader out in front just continues to pick everyone apart. Still 5 seconds between himself and David Traylor Jr. as he's still trying to hold on and hold off Philip Tuscano and Jackson Connell as Keith Prince up and into that 5th position. Jesse Calloway sticking right there with him, trying to stay glued to his back bumper. Unfortunately, just innocent bystander here in this one, just getting the best front row seats for it is Clinton Woodby as he'll stick right behind these guys, try to stay in their draft, but really not quite in this fight for that 5th position. And for right now, Keith Prince trying to hang on to it. The 4 wide of Jesse Calloway trying to take it back away. But man, this has been a exciting race, and oh, there's a little bit of contact right there between the 3 and the 4. That's going to get Callaway bent out of shape. Luckily enough, he's able to hang on to it. No caution flag. That was very close to being a yellow right there for Keith Prince. He's able to hang on to it, but here comes that 92. Now with that little bit of speed, a little bit of momentum, can he rejoin that battle for that 5th position? That had to have been a bit of a nervous time right there. I don't know if he's got the stream up and watching or not, but for the 31, Christian Schrader with 5 laps left to go did not want to see that caution flag. 5 seconds 5 laps. He's on cruise control here. And for that 31 ride, man, he just did not want to see that yellow flag get displayed, as it does look like Tristan Kyle's falling a little farther back here. So it looked like Tristan ended up coming back down pit road on lap number 98. Unfortunately, that will put him, I believe, now 2 laps down out on the Speedway. And now for Tristan Kyle, he's actually scored back in that 15th position. So it's gotten even worse there for that number 23 ride. But for Strader, that's good news for him. And now looking to try to put the 43 ride, another Ignite Motorsports ride, a lap down here this evening, as the 43 machine of Roberto Ramirez will also lose a lap out there on the racetrack. David Traylor Jr. still holding on to second here. Does have Jackson Connell, though, reeling him in. Jackson Connell's worked his way around teammate Philip Tuscano here for position number 3 on the Speedway. So Philip slides back into 4th. Jackson up into 3rd. Can he hunt down David Traylor Jr.? Alrighty, it's only 3 more laps here for Christian this evening. Can he get it done? Will there be a late race caution flag? Will something happen that could potentially lose this race for that number 31 ride? Will fuel be an issue? Will he not have to worry about the fuel if there's a late race caution flag? How many drivers will have to come down pit road to make sure they get enough fuel into their ride that they can survive an attempt or 2 at NASCAR overtime? That is the big question, and I think for Tristan Kyle, he just needs to see this one stay clean and green. He's got 2 laps left to go, so the next time by, he will see that white flag fly. Now, he is on cruise control. He let the 23 go back around him, so at least a lap back there for Tristan Kyle, so he is now back only 1 lap down, but late in this race, still not really going to help him out too much here, as he's going to see the white flag fly here really soon. It's down the back straightaway. Christian Strader with about 4.6 seconds on cruise control. Doesn't have to really worry about times. He doesn't have to really worry about anyone catching him. I think he should be A-okay. Should have no problems to get to the end here without an issue. And for that number 31 ride, this is the moment he's been looking for. There's the white flag. Okay, so the white flag has been displayed. This will be the last lap around here this evening. And for the 31, he does not have to worry about that late race caution flag affecting this race any longer. He just has to hit his marks, not make any mistakes. He's got 4.5 seconds. He can be a second, 2 seconds slower than David Traylor Jr. and still not even have any sort of pressure to his back bumper here. So down for the final time into corner number 3. Nice and easy. Down and out of corner number 4. Gonna roll back onto the throttle nicely. Is down and out of 4 and across the line here this evening, winning the winning bid 210 here at Auto Club Speedway. It's Christian Strader who will get it done. Strader picks up the dub and will pull the 31 up and into victory lane here this evening, as David Traylor Jr. will come home in second. Jackson Connell will round out our top 3. Philip Tuscano and Keith Prince the top 5 here this evening. Great run there for Keith, able to come home in that 5th position. Jesse Calloway, Clinton Woodby, Joe Yates, Rusty Modesty, and Matt Hayden are top 10 here this evening, as Colton Hardy, Michael Yates, Roberto Ramirez, Tristan Kyle, Bruce Bernard, and Gregory Wood Sr. round out our field here this evening. But it's all Christian Strader, man. Absolutely a show here in this one, man. What a wild run, what a wild race here for that 31 machine. At the start, it didn't really look like it was going to be his day. It looked like he was going to be a good competitor in it. I thought we would have saw Jackson Connell and a few of these other drivers right there with him and battling with him throughout this feature event. But man, it just was, as soon as he got that fresh air, as soon as he started to break away from the pack, nobody was catching this 31. As Christian Strader gets to celebrate, gets to start the party here in California, as the 31 gets it done here this evening in the winning bid NASCAR Diecast in Card Breaks 210 here at Auto Club Speedway in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing Series. We'll get ready to pull Christian and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up next. We'll get these drivers up here into the booth, and see what they're feeling like, man. Obviously, for the number 31, Ryan, he's going to be feeling A-okay. He's going to be feeling very, very good about his run, his performance, and his drive as he gets to pull it up and into the victory lane here at the beautiful Auto Club Speedway. As I don't know what the heck you call this victory lane. Is it the Fuzzy's Ultra Premium Vodka Victory Lane? Is it the 19th hole Victory Lane? Or is it the Gatorade Victory Lane? What in the world do we call it here? This is a confusing victory lane here at Auto Club Speedway, but nonetheless, here tonight, it all belongs to Christian Strider as he picks up the win and pulls the 31 up and into the victory lane here at Auto Club Speedway. We'll get him up here into the booth for his post-race interview. Hey, Christian, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Christian, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one. As early on, it was a good battle. You were up inside the top 5. You were duking it out there with the Ignite Ryans as Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano. All these guys were right there battling with you throughout that first stage. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed like after that stage break, we go back to green flag racing, and it's just like something clicked on for this 31 ride, and you were absolutely gone. You jumped out in front, you got that clean air, and once you got it, you never gave it back as you just pulled away and just continue to drive off into the California sunset here at Auto Club Speedway, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like the first stage, it was pretty chaotic. I mean, there's a lot of racing going on. The hard part with like Auto Club is you get a run and then you go to make a pass and you go to the bottom, and then if you don't clear, you end up without the momentum, and everybody goes around you on the top, and then you got to swap back and forth, and it makes it for a lot of fun racing, getting back and forth. But once you get the clean air, you're kind of able to kind of protect a little bit, choose your lane. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. So at that first stage, like I wanted to try to make sure to like be up there, be in the mix, get a feel of the car, and not push too hard that I was losing spots at the end, but also just kind of see what the car would do, and then try to figure out a way to get to first and kind of hold on from there. Just because you get back there and you're racing people, and when you're racing people, you're using more tire than anybody that's not racing anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And having that fresh air, having that open racetrack, and not really battling with anybody for so many laps here later in this race, is that what you attribute to potentially, just pulling farther and farther away from David Traylor Jr. and the rest of the drivers back there behind you, as we saw numerous times, even after these, pit stops, they were able to gain a couple seconds on you, and then it was like you just, once again, just drove away from them.
Yeah, I mean, like I really do think it partially came down to just having clean air and being out front, not having to really race anybody, and just having some space to choose your lane, save some tire, and not really have to worry about getting your momentum broke or anything like that. Because early in the race, I didn't feel like I was like a much better car than any of those top guys up there that you just listed. Like we saw different runs. David was definitely better than me during that second run after the stage, or the first run after the stage. We got towards the end, and he was running me down. So I think that a lot of it just kind of came down to getting the track position, getting the clean air, because you can kind of just run your race and run your laps. Whereas when you get back and start mixing it up with guys, I mean, it just gets harder to try to make the pass and then save a little tire, but also not give up the spot. So you're always kind of pushing, and getting out front, getting a little bit of a lead just kind of helps out and makes it where you can gap it, put a little bit of a gap even when everybody's pretty equal there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was the big question mark through a lot of this race is the tires, the fuel, and really where everyone's at. We saw pretty much yourself, as soon as you saw David kind of come down pit road there for that final pit stop. He did the virtual same thing to you after the first green flag pit stop, where you really only had that one lap difference really on tires all evening long, where you guys were fairly balanced out, but how much does that one lap really affect the race? Obviously, we saw them clean, get a little bit of a gap on you, kind of reel you in a little bit, pitting a little bit sooner than you did, and didn't really get too much of a gap after you pit a lap earlier than they did. So was it just, potentially trying not to make a mistake down pit side, maybe trying to take it a little bit easier on pit road entry, or maybe gave up a little bit to them and they were able to just gain that extra little bit, or, were they just, faster on those newer tires there for that one lap to really gain that couple seconds?
Mostly I just wanted to make sure not to speed on pit road. You have when you have a lead of that sort, you don't want to make any mistakes. Like you can give up a little bit of time and then just try to work it back over the next 27 laps or so for the run. So I really wanted to make sure not to speed on pit road, lock up the brakes, start sliding, lose the rear end, just be kind of easy and get on there smooth and then get in the box smooth. Wasn't too concerned about trying to push too hard because pit road's mistakes are kind of a bad habit for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is honestly probably one of the first races that I've seen here at Auto Club Speedway in quite a while where somebody hasn't gotten that black flag down pit road, speeding down pit side. So here tonight, everyone was pretty good down pit road, and everyone here this evening, man, was chasing you down here for a lot of laps this evening as Christian, you're able to pick up a big checkered flag, a big win here again in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing Series here at Auto Club Speedway, man. Who would you like to thank for having another great run, another great performance, and another win into your iRacing career?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you to Colton and Clinton and David for putting this all together. To you for having you up in the booth, Aaron. We appreciate it, and you always put on a good show for us. And then just thank you to anybody out there that watching the race tonight.
Beauty. Well, Christian, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. Hopefully we see this 31 back in action again next Friday night and maybe right back up here into Victory Lane.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you have a good one too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Christian Strader. Strader picks up the checkered flag here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 54 rider, David Traylor Jr. Let's get David up here into the booth. Hey, David, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, I got you.
David, man, another strong run, another great race here for you in this one, man. But obviously, you're trying to hunt down that 31 ride for a lot of laps this evening, and unfortunately just could not quite get an advantage or a bit of a gap to be able to either get in front of him or try to get towards his back bumper where you can kind of put the pressure onto him, as once he kind of got that race lead, you're still trying to navigate your way through some of that traffic there after the first stage there, and we were going for this long green flag run, and he was just able to open up such a big lead that you could just never, recapture, really gain too much time back to him here to draw him back in.
Yeah, honestly, I'm elated with a P2. I was not that great among these guys that are in the top 5 here, but clean air is pretty big here, and I learned in the first stint that I had saved too much, and then in the second one, I realized I could have driven even harder. So yeah, just started to put my foot down a little more, driving a little harder, and seeing what would happen. And it kind of worked there. But no, I had nothing for Christian there. He was by a long shot class of the field tonight. He did exactly what he had to do. Came in here and whooped our tails, and sucks, but it is what it is. We'll settle for another P2. I think I'm pretty stacked up on P2s and P3s this season, but why not add another one to collection?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's never a bad night. It's never a bad thing coming home in second and obviously getting all those extra points and helping yourself out, especially knowing that consistency is going to be key here in a few weeks. I do believe there's only 2 more races left until the playoffs, so you're starting to really come alive and stacking these top 2s, top 3s together at the right time heading into our season playoffs.
Yeah, that's the goal. As many bonus points as I can get. Like I said, I'm gonna miss one of the races in the playoffs, so trying to get what I can. So the provisional helps me out a little bit, but no, it's fun to come out and race with these guys. This track was tight enough in a way you could kind of you kind of door bang a little bit. You kind of give somebody the bump to run. I definitely did that to the 39. Um, so it was good fun out there. Trying to build momentum here, but man, it's a stout field between really like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 guys. But we're gonna do our best and try to get to Homestead and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to capture this season's championship, trying to win another championship here in the Full Throttle Outlaws after taking last season off. But here you are, you're right back into the battle, you're right back into the mix, and coming home with another solid podium finish. David, who'd you like to thank again here tonight for another great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah. First off, thanks to the rest of the admin team. They help us. We all help each other kind of put this thing on. Joe Yakes, Colton Hardy, Clint Woodby, Jesse Calloway. I wouldn't want to try to run another league with another group of guys. They make it super fun. Thanks to the guys that show up every week. I know we're asking a lot. Friday nights is it's plenty of other things to do. But these guys come in here and spend a couple hours with us, and I really appreciate that they do that for us. Big thank you to you and putting the broadcast on. I love going back and watching these from the booth and hearing your commentary on it always keeps it exciting. So we really appreciate what you do for us. Big thank you to the sponsors for the league, QH Design, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, Admin Box. Every single one of them, it kind of makes it possible for me to do what I'm doing. Wheelbase from Johnny, Admin Box from Admin Box, and Colton with the main sponsor on the car. I can't thank the sponsors enough. And then thanks to my dad watching at home and my fiance for letting me do this.
Absolutely, brother. Well, David, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening from Auto Club Speedway, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Friday night, and hopefully we'll get you right back up here into the broadcast booth, maybe this time one spot better, and up and into victory lane.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. Thank you, Aaron.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, David Traylor Jr. As David comes home there in second, we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 39 of Jackson Connell. Hey, Jackson, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Hey, howdy.
Jackson, man, solid run, solid drive again for you here tonight, man. Obviously, being able to win that first stage, being able to make some late runs there in that first stage and being able to capture it. And then here in the final stage, obviously trying to play a little bit of strategy, whether it be tire wear or fuel mileage. You kind of fell back there a little bit in that first stage after, not first stage, but the first run after that stage break, and you're able to kind of draw yourself back up there. You start to reel them back in, but then as these green flag pit stops start firing off, it just kind of seemed like you're kind of just stalled out right around where you are now. That third place, fourth, fifth place area, and you really just could not get anything extra to really jump up and try to battle again with Christian Schrader for this race win.
Yeah, you summed that up pretty well. So at the beginning of the first stage or second stage, that was exactly my goal, was to lay back, let them race really hard like we all did the first stage, and then pick up the pieces where everybody had shredded their tires. But by the time I crawled back up through the field after everybody had shredded their tires, I mean, Christian was gone. He had like a 3-second lead and then some. So, very deserving winner tonight. And I'm really glad we could all race clean. Everybody raced really well. It was a lot of fun to battle with everyone. Hopefully we have more of those in the future.
Yeah, obviously a lot of good green flag laps here, a lot of tight battles out there, especially during that first stage. Obviously a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide, and even a little bit of 4 and 5 wide out there on the racetrack. But man, it was a pretty exciting show, especially even just there at the end. Obviously Christian trying to, just run away with it, kind of on cruise control there. But you and Phillip, teammates trying to track down David Traylor Jr. And you guys did have, a lot better tires than he did. But it just seemed like once he kind of caught up to him, you just once again just couldn't close the gap to him. I don't know if it was just the dirty air making you tight there or what it was, but you were able to at least jump up past Philip here for third and join us up here into the booth again, man. Take us through that late race battle and, what was going through your mind as you were trying to reel in at least maybe that one extra point, that one extra position with David Traylor Jr. just in front of you.
Yeah, that was our goal was to get to him. Tony and I worked together really well on that last run, just trying to get there, but the dirty air was awful. I don't know what they did to the Xfinity car, but dirty air is definitely a factor now. I think the issue for me was I would have continued pushing on those last 5 laps to actually go get him, but fuel was starting to concern me a little bit. With the lane I was running in 1 and 2, I was bleeding fuel, and I was worried I wasn't going to be able to make it to the checkered if I kept running it. So made a business decision that if I was to catch him naturally, that would be great. But otherwise, I was just going to hang and take my lumps tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you settle in. You don't get that extra spot, but you still come home with a very solid third-place run and another trip back up here into the podium and into the broadcast booth here this evening. As Jackson, a solid run, solid performance for you here tonight, man. A good points night for you, as well as the playoffs are getting started in just a couple more weeks. Obviously, that's definitely going to be something that's going to draw more attention and bring the competitive level up that much more and the intensity level up. Race after race after race. And here tonight, another third-place finish, another good run, and some more momentum for you heading into those playoffs here this evening, man. Who'd you like to thank for another great run and great performance?
Teammates, per usual. Got 3 really solid guys that I work with on a weekly basis, and we all work together really well, and we make the best result possible for the team.
Absolutely, man. Teamwork makes the dream work. And here tonight, man, you come home in third, and you got a teammate right there in your back bumper, back in that 4th position. Jackson, congrats on a great run, great performance, and a hell of a drive here this evening at Auto Club Speedway, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, and have a great weekend, and hopefully we see you right back up here in the booth next Friday.
Thank you much. You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third-place finisher, Jackson Connell, as Connell comes home in position number 3 here this evening, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for the 39 ride, and for all of these drivers, man. Hell of a show, hell of a race, hell of a battle, man. Only that one caution flag right at the end of our stage, so really it was just that one yellow flag all evening long, that one issue, that one instance where the yellow was displayed and really was no effect to the race because it was right at the end of the stage break anyway, so really didn't have a major factor in this one, except for obviously maybe eliminating a couple bonus points there for Philip Tuscano, as he was the driver that kind of got spun down the back straightaway and went around, and obviously that brought out our first caution and only caution flag of the day. But nonetheless, a lot of good hard green flag racing, a lot of back and forth, a lot of great battling here for each and every one of these competitors, putting on an absolutely amazing show. We can't thank them enough for tuning in and showing the love and obviously being a part of this race and being here for another amazing Friday night with the Full Throttle Outlaws. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in as well. All the fans in the stands, everyone coming with the likes, the comments, the shares, man. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Huge shout out to all of our amazing sponsors here with the Full Throttle Outlaws, and a huge shout out as well to the winning bid, NASCAR Diecast and Card Breaks. Here this evening, as they're the sponsor of the winning bid 210 here this evening, as is Christian Schrader, who's able to capture that winning bid 210 checkered flag here this evening, as Schrader picks up the win, has himself a great run, great drive, man. If you guys enjoyed that racing action, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys back in here and back in the booth again tomorrow night for some more amazing racing with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. So we'll catch y'all back in here tomorrow evening. Thank y'all for watching though here tonight, and we'll see y'all later, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love, ladies and gents.
let your turn. Floor is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Hit stop quick,